Let's turn now to trade politics. President Donald Trump is putting pressure on China, threatening to raise tariffs on goods from the country on Friday if there is no progress toward a trade deal. Now, China is warning of retaliation if President Trump goes through with that threat. Here to break down what's going on right now and what could happen next, Washington Post global economics correspondent David Lynch. David, thanks for being with us tonight. Let's start here. How did we get to this point? What's the latest right now?
Sure. Well, the administration has been working for about a year trying to get China to change some of its trade practices that the U.S. regards as unfair. China forces technology companies to hand over their trade secrets in order to do business in China, and is believed to be behind the theft of a lot of American intellectual property. And of course, the president's very upset about the chronic U.S. trade deficit with China. So those are the objectives. It went into overdrive really starting from about the beginning of December, when President Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping met in Buenos Aires and agreed to try and resolve this with another round of talks. The president has delayed his planned increase in tariffs at least twice before, but he got very angry apparently over the weekend at what he saw as some Chinese waffling or reneging on commitments that the U.S. negotiators thought had been locked down.
Does it look like, there is a likely conclusion at this point, or is it really too early to say? Are we waiting to see how these next several hours play out?
The negotiators on both sides are trying to get to yes. Whether that can happen before the tariffs are scheduled to take effect Friday is very difficult, because the Chinese negotiators don't sit down with their American counterparts until tomorrow evening here in Washington, leaving them just hours to get it resolved.
If these tariffs were to take effect, a big if right now, but if that would happen, what's expected to be the average impact for Americans?
Well, it's really as simple as Americans would see higher prices on a lot of the stuff they buy out in stores. We've had a couple of rounds of tariff increases so far. The first round early last year was aimed at intermediate products, things that companies here buy to use to make other products. But the second round, the $200 billion that would be hit with the higher tariffs on Friday, those are things you and I buy out in the store. And so we would see the effect.
David Lynch from the Washington Post, thanks so much for being with us tonight.